Hello. Okay, so let's check. Okay, super, super, super. Such a joy to be online. Um, yeah. Okay, great. Such a joy, such a pleasure to be online for this book launch. All right, just to check here and there. Hmm. Okay, what page? Okay, cool. Um, yeah, yeah, such a pleasure to be online. Okay, I just quickly want to check around to be sure that okay, we're live on YouTube. All right, so we're doing this both on YouTube and on LinkedIn. All right, um, so we're gonna do this very quickly. My name is Adebayo Alomaja, um, popularly known as BioGPT. Right, and I'm the founder and chief learning designer at EAZY-DIGI, and this is my book launch event. So thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Um, so very quickly, as you join, it would be nice to just connect with you. Can you just tell me your name, tell me where you're joining from? Um, I'll greatly appreciate that. Yeah, whether you're joining from LinkedIn or from YouTube, please tell me your name and also tell me where you're joining from. So just try to do a quick check to be sure that LinkedIn is perfect and good to go. All right. Okay, cool. So we're live on LinkedIn. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Please tell me your name. All right, good. So please tell me your name and tell me where you're joining from, and let's get this party started quickly. Um, yeah, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mitope. Thank you. I see you. Thank you for joining. All right. Mm. So please, as you join, tell us, tell me your name, please, and where you're joining from. It'll be nice to connect with you. Yeah. So again, it is such a pleasure for me to be here. This book launch is a product of several years of research, several years of staying in the education space. Yeah, Bumi, thank you. Thank you for joining. Right. I mean, several years of observations, right? Observations, staying in the education space, and just watching how things have unfolded, right, in the last 5 to 6 years, right? This book is a product of that. It's a product of research. And when I say research, I do not mean academic research. I mean industrial research, because basically, if you've been following me for some time, um, always speaking. Yeah, thank you, Adeni. Thank you for joining. Such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you, everyone. All right. For me, what I stand for basically is closing the gap between K to 12 and the digital economy. All right. That industry is very promising, has great potential, and there's a lot that K to 12 needs to do, especially taking Africa as the context. So for this book, the context is Africa. This book is for K to 12 schools across Africa. I'm very specific in that regard. Um, okay, I'm going to share my screen. Like I said, 5 to 6 years of observation, staying in the K to 12 space, rigorously immersing myself in research across industries, specifically the digital economy, and what is happening and how things have been changing, and especially the arrival of, the intelligent age, right? And I'm going to take you on a journey real quick, right? And then so just real quick, let me try to share my screen. Thank you. Please, as you join, Tell us where you're joining from. It'll be nice to meet you. It'll be nice to connect with you. All right. Okay, so I think I am sharing my screen now. And I hope that you can see it. Okay, let me check. Okay, yeah, all right. All right, so we're gonna minimize something here. We're gonna minimize something here so that you get to see my screen widely. Okay, let's hide this. Great. So I think it's better now. I do hope you can see my screen, please. You can confirm if you can see my screen, just so I'm sure that we're good. All right, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, welcome. So this is okay. Yeah, so I hope you're ready. I'm an education futurist, and what this basically entails is that I spend a lot of time observing signals, right? Signals across industries, and looking at, because the thing is, the world we live in today, right? Nothing happens suddenly, right? And I'd like to just start on that note, right? In the world we live in today, nothing happens suddenly. Nothing happens suddenly, right? So as an education futurist, I'm basically looking out for signals, right? Because behind every shift in the society is a signal or are signals, right? Behind every shift in the society, right, is a signal. Okay, so what I do as an education futurist in the education space is to try to understand what these signals are. What are the signals that we're seeing, right, in the industries, in the education space, and in that intersection, right? Because these signals in the flow of things, right, is that we have the signals, we have the trends, and we have the mega trends. Now, mega trends is when it becomes a serious shift. It is everywhere. Everyone can see it. Everyone can now notice it. It becomes the norm. People have to now adjust to it. But before it becomes a mega trend, right? It always starts in the signal spectrum, right? It always starts in the signal spectrum. And in the signal spectrum, you have two categories of signals. You have the early signals, right? Or what is sometimes called the weak signals, early or weak, right? At that stage, it is so early, it is so unnoticeable, right? Um, Only futurists and people that is their default, right, can easily or quickly catch things like that when they begin to happen, right? So in the signal spectrum and the weak or early stage, right, it is happening, right? But then it is not yet in the public. People don't notice it yet, right? And then it grows. Not every weak or early signal makes it to the next stage. Yeah, I need to mention that. Not every weak or early signal makes it to the next stage, right? I mean, recently we heard about Meta saying they're going to shut down Metaverse, right? There was a plan that was going to be like grow and become a trend that become the norm, right? But now they're shutting that down, right? They're shutting that down after spending billions of dollars on that project, right? Not every signal grows to become like a trend and then a mega trend, right? But there are some signals that do make it to that stage, right? So from early weak signal, it grows to become a strong signal, and then it gradually becomes a trend. And then when it's a trend, you discover that in a particular geography, in a particular location, region, right, people are already experiencing it, right? And before you know it, it begins to spread over and over and over and over, and then it's all over the place, right? But it is that understanding that nothing happens suddenly, right? So whatever is going to become the norm by 2030, right? You can be sure that today there are already signals that are underway that will give birth to that shift. So when I say behind every shift in the society is a signal, that's what I'm talking about, right? And the quick question is, as of today, are there signals that have the potential to bet a certain shift in the society, in education, right, in Africa? The answer is yes, there are. Yes, there are. Today, there are signals that can bet us kind of thing. If you're still following me, if you can hear me, can you please type in the chat room, type signals? Can you please type signals? So that's a quick check. Can you please type signals? Signals. Signals. If you can hear me, please type signals in the chat section. Um, whether you're following from YouTube or you're following from LinkedIn, if you can hear me, please type signals. 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 Type signals. Just a quick check. Okay. All right. If you can hear me, if you're still following, can you please type signals? Type signals in the chat section. All right. Thank you. Copy that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Adeni. Thank you, Bumi. All right. So nothing happens suddenly. Nothing happens suddenly. And the quick question, right? Now, after understanding the flow of things, right? The evolution of things, right? From the signals to the trend to the mega trends, right? One quick question we want to ask ourselves right now is, are there signals, right, that have the potential to shift education, to shift society, and also in that intersection that we need to pay attention to today, right? So, as an education futurist, right, there are certain signals that I have noticed that I'd like to share right on this call. And all of these things is tied to the reasoning, to the thinking behind the book that I'm launching today. Right. And I'm just going to take you on that journey real quick. What are the signals that I'm seeing? Right. Now, here is the first category of signals that I'm seeing that we need to pay attention to in the K to 12 education community in Africa. Here's the first one here. So GPT-40, this is an AI model, right? Scored 90.4%, right, on US MLE style medical licensing question. The United States medical licensing exams, right? Medical licensing question. Outperforming medical students by 30 plus points. So we are seeing that these AI models, right? Oh, I think I suddenly switched into AI, right? Well, permit me. These AI models, an AI model took an exam, right? And to the point where he outperformed the students by 30 plus points. Just think about that for a minute, right? For a moment. Think about that for a moment, right? Because, of course, officially by 2025 January, right, the World Economic Forum stepped forward to declare this new era as what is called the intelligence age, right? So officially right now, we are in the intelligence age, right? And by definition, the intelligence age is an era where intelligence firstly is now shared between humans and the machines, right? Intelligence is now shared between humans and the machines. So humans and machines, the new standard, the new norm, right, is that humans and machines have to now work together, right, for productive to boost productivity, either at a personal level, at a corporate level, economic level, and just in that regard, right? So officially, humans and machines are now expected to work together because of the kind of expectation, because of the level of results and productivity that is required, right? So this is a very serious shift, right? That the world has moved away from the information age into the intelligence age, and that is very official. We cannot ignore this in the education space, right? Because technology has the power to shape society. And when it does, in the education space, we don't have the power to say no. We cannot say no, right? It's always about, oh, what do we then do in the education space, right? To equip people to be able to thrive in the emerging society, in this new society, right? So knowing fully well that we are now in the intelligence age, right? Talking about AI. Now we are seeing AI models, right? Doing something. And I wonder why they decided to take all these tests. Please stay with me, right? And this is the first one. The second one there is OpenAI's O3 and A plus grades on real law school finals and placed in the 90th percentile on the uniform bar exam. Think about that. Think about that. Are you beginning to sense something? Right? We're talking about signals. We're asking ourselves, what signals do we need to pay attention to in K-12 right now? The third thing you will see here is GPT-4, right? All of these are still open AI models. I'll switch a bit. It's the 88 to 99 percentile on the SAT, GRE, LSAT, these exams again, right? Are you seeing something? Now let's go away from OpenAI and let's move to Google, right? And let's see Google AI models, right? So Gemini Deep Think achieved the high score of 35 over 42, equivalent to a gold medal in the International Mathematical Olympiad (IMO). Very huge. Okay, right. Stay with me. Still got some more to show you, right? On this page, if you look at the second one there, you have Gemini 2.5 Pro achieved a score higher than top human performer on the IIT JEE advanced exam in India. Now, this exam is one of the toughest exams in India. And Gemini 2.5 Pro, right, achieved a score higher than the top human performer. Think about that. Are you already sensing something? Now, the first on the list you see here, students in India are using Gemini to analyze past exam trends. This is very funny. You know, in Africa, our exams like WAHEC, like JAM, right? Even like GCSE and IGCSE, in the Cambridge curriculum, and of course SAT, like we saw, right, in the American curriculum, the other one, right? And all of these exams, right? See what they're saying, right? Students in India, they are using Gemini to analyze past exam trends, with some reporting that it helps identify likely topics with 70 to 80% accuracy in specific cases, improving preparation strategies. Now, the AI is used to scan multiple years of past exam papers for top recurring topics. Oh my God. So this is how AI is disrupting education today. Now, when you see things like this, what comes to your mind? Now, for me, as an education futurist, here's what I see, right? This signals to me the death of an institution and of an education model. So we use 12 years to prepare humans for these exams. And then AI comes and say these exams that you use 12 years to prepare the students for, in few minutes, I'll take the exam and I will do better than the best humans in this exam. That is what AI is saying to us. Now, what does that tells you? What does that tells you? And by the way, the reason why AI is able to perform so well and do very well in that regard is because of the power of machine learning. The way these models think, and we'll go deep into that, talking about, the neural network, the neural network behind this AI, the way they think, the way they are able to connect dots across various areas, right, to give responses, great responses, right, is so deep. The neural network and the chain of thought reasoning, right, and the chain of thought reasoning behind these AI models is so powerful. Of course, we all use these AI tools here, and you see how they respond when you ask them questions, right? I can't imagine placing wire jam on these models, on these AI models, right? It's going to be 100% in minutes, right? So what are we seeing here is that, stay with me, stay with me. We are seeing the devaluation of linear and convergent thinking in K to 12. Now, this is very technical. This is very technical. We are seeing the devaluation of linear and convergent thinking, right, in K to 12. Now, why is this very critical, right? In K to 12, right, the thinking that K to 12 is largely built on is what is called convergent thinking. And I'll explain what that means. Now, there are two types of thinking in that regard. There is convergent thinking and there is divergent thinking. Now, convergent thinking, as the word implies, right, to converge, to come together, right? So you have to get a particular answer. If whatever you're doing does not come together at a particular answer, all right, then you are wrong. The thinking is linear. There is an example, there is a way it has to go. When these students are solving this question, right, there are examples, there are guide. These examples and this guide have been molded according to a particular way of thinking, right? And so the students have to think that way, right? Everything around K to 12 is built on linear and convergent thinking by design. And convergent thinking, as we are seeing right now, AI has come to reveal the weakness of convergent thinking. It has come to reveal that weakness. So we are seeing right now and that is why in the society today, linear and convergent thinking doesn't have any value anymore, right? So what these AI models have done, or what these companies have done, is they wanted to just test what is the value of linear and convergent thinking. And the moment they took all these exams and they discovered that AI has outpassed them, then what did we start seeing? We started seeing that the requirements to enter into this organization started changing, right? Right. So AI started going for entry level roles because you need a lot of linear and convergent thinking to handle entry level roles. And that is why right now AI is scraping off the entry level roles. Just this January alone in the US, about 108,000 people were laid off, and still counting, still counting, still counting. So we are seeing the devaluation of linear and convergent thinking. When I look at K to 12, I don't see primary and secondary schools. What I see in Africa is I see a national talent pipeline. And because I see schools as pipeline, as a talent pipeline, right? I am asking myself, right? K to 12 is on the first end, right? The starting end of the pipeline, right? And the end of the pipeline, right, is the workplace. I'm asking myself, what are the skills, the knowledge, and the competencies in the workplace today that K to 12 needs to align with and start paying attention to? Now, all of these things are the thinking behind the book that I put together called The School Shift. Because in the society today, in the industries, we are seeing the devaluation of linear and convergent thinking. Please, if you are still with me and if you can hear me, can you please type in the chat room linear and convergent thinking? Oh, let me not stress you too much. Just type convergent thinking. Yeah. If you're still with me, if you can hear me, can you please type convergent thinking? Please type convergent thinking in the chat room. Convergent thinking. Now, are we saying we need to totally discard convergent thinking? No, that's not what we're saying. What we are saying is that in the value chain, coming from the pipeline perspective, right, there is a serious devaluation on convergent thinking. And there is an urgent call. Now, this is not even something that is really new. There is an urgent call for K to 12 to go beyond linear and convergent thinking into divergent thinking, right? In the world of divergent thinking, what is important is not about quickly getting an answer. It's not about quickly getting an answer, right? Because when we subject these young people to that kind of thinking, right, we deprive them from building the competency that the society in the intelligence age is asking for. They must be divergent thinkers. K to 12 must start raising divergent thinkers. And if K to 12 is going to raise divergent thinkers, then there is a need for us to rethink everything around teaching and learning. There is a need for us to rethink everything around teaching and learning. Now, I'm still talking about the signals, right? What are the signals that we are seeing that we need to pay attention to in K to 12? What are the signals? We're seeing the emergence of what I call teampreneurs, right? Nick here is just one among many. Is just one among many. So when I talk about the fact that we need to embrace divergent thinking in K to 12, right? Divergent thinking is not one way. It's very broad, right? It's very broad. When you engage in divergent thinking, you keep on asking the question. When you get an answer, it leads to another question. The goal is not to quickly come together at an answer. That is not the goal. The goal is to explore the world of possibilities. The goal is exploration. When you break into divergent thinking, you end up finding new knowledge. One of the challenges we have in K to 12 today is that everything around K to 12 by default is built around a body of knowledge that is not evolving. We cannot be asking learners to give back to us knowledge that is not new, that already exists. Because if you look at ChatGPT and the likes and these things, right, these tools have the potential to generate information that already exists, but they can even go beyond that, right? They can go beyond that, and right now they are performing at that level where they are able to give you information beyond what just even exists, right? They can predict, they can give you ideas that are new to an extent, right? So if at K to 12 the cycle is still around a body of knowledge and information that exists, and we are not pushing our learners into that zone where they are discovering new things, where there is discovery, right, where there is exploration, yeah, then we are sabotaging that, sabotaging this generation. That's what's happening, right? So another signal you're seeing here is we're seeing the emergence of teampreneurs, right? Teenagers becoming entrepreneurs. For me, what I see here as a signal is the fact that we have a generation of teenagers who can do well than getting good grades on paper. If we take them out of the world of linear and convergent thinking and we expose them to divergent thinking, right, by breaking them into the world of problem solving, into the world of analytical thinking, into the world of creative thinking, we'll begin to see them do more than getting good grades on paper. So we are seeing the emergence of teampreneurs, and there's a lot to think about in that regard, right? So yes, Nick, right? He built an AI startup at just 14. And let me quickly say this, right? It is safe to say that for the Gen Zs, right, because every generation is defined by the realities that emerge when they come of age. Every generation, whether it's the baby boomers, the Gen X, the Gen Zs, every generation is defined by the realities, right, that forms them when they come of age, right? The Gen Zs are the social media, the technology for the Gen Zs is the social media, right? Yeah, it's a social media. But you see, the technology for the Gen Alpha is AI, right? Is AI. That is their technology, right? They have the potential to do so much than get good grades on paper. You can see what I showed you earlier about those students in India who were using Gemini to analyze exams in the last few years and trying to discover trends. So that is their technology. That is the technology for their generation. But you see, because AI is the technology for the alpha generation, this also means that what we are asking them to do, our expectation has to change. We need to go beyond asking them to get good grades because they have the potential to do beyond that. Why? Because of the technology of their generation, which is AI. When a child has access, when a teenager has access to AI, you can no longer be expecting just good grades on paper. No, no, no. That is so low level. That is lower order expectation, right? Because right now we know what AI can do, right? We know how AI has killed linear and convergent thinking. Then the expectation has to now be in the zone of divergent thinking, right? Where these kids are exploring and discovering, right, new things, right? So this is a great time for education for K to 12, right? And one thing you will see here is the fact that we stand at a very critical point. And I say this carefully because when the internet came, so let's compare two era. We have the internet era and we have the intelligence age. When the internet came in the 90s, right? One of the things that happened for us in Africa was because of the disconnection, right? Um, it just started happening in a particular place. There was not, we're largely disconnected from that reality, right? And as it began to grow, the young people, the teenagers we had in that generation, right? Because of the fact that it was just fresh, they didn't have access. Digital literacy was very, very low. The awareness was very, very low, right? So the young people in that generation could not participate. They could not participate, right? Because in Africa, they were very disconnected. It was very new and very fresh. They could not participate, right? So co-creation was impossible. So in that generation, in the late 90s, in the early 20s, young people have to rely a lot on adults because of their knowledge gaps, because they didn't have access to the internet, because they were disconnected from many realities. So they had to depend on adults, trust adults for access to information and things like that. But that is not the order or the reality in this same time now, because we're in the same place that we stood in the late 90s when the internet just arrived. Just like we're looking at AI that just arrived, of course, specifically Gen AI that just came on board about 3 years ago, and like that. We're standing in that same place right now. But the difference is that the young people in this generation, they have access. They have access. So we are going to see, or we need to embrace what I call co-creation, right? The adults and the young people will have to create together. That is one powerful reality that is trailing this era, right? We are going to see education in this season of creative destruction has to be focused on co-creation, right? It is a season of creative destruction. Um, Creative destruction refers to an era where old things are fading away and new things are building up, right? So the same thing that happened in the internet era where old jobs started going away, new jobs were coming forward. We are also standing in that same place right now. It is a season of creative destruction. It is a season of creative destruction, right? Old paradigms, old industries, they are fading away. New paradigms, new industries are coming up. And the advantage for young people right now is that they stand a chance for co-creation. They stand a chance for co-creation. Co-creation. Please, if you can hear me, if you are still listening, can you please type in the chat room co-creation? Co-creation. Co-creation is very powerful. Co-creation. Co-creation. Please type in the chat room co-creation. Co-creation. I'll go first. Yeah, co-creation, right? So co-creation, co-creation has to become the norm in this season, right? Because the young people can participate, unlike the internet era when it came, right? So the emergence of teampreneurs is not accidental. It's a critical signal that we should not ignore. It's a critical signal that we need to pay attention to in the K to 12 space. Very critical that we need to pay attention to, right? So when I look at teenagers, my expectation is not I'm no longer looking at what they are great in their exams. And like I always say, right? You see these teenagers, if they want to pass an exam, they will pass it. Right? It's not the value of K to 12 can no longer be tied to exam grades. It can no longer be tied to exam grades. It can no longer be tied to exam grades. That's what we're seeing. It can no longer be tied to exam grades because what we are seeing right now, right? We are seeing generative AI specifically disrupting linear and convergent thinking. And so the next frontier for K 12 has to be divergent thinking. We have been talking about it, but AI has now come to reveal it and to say we are due for the change. We are due for the change, right? And of course, still talking about signals, like you see here in the US alone, 108, 400, 108,000, 435 jobs were displaced in a single month, right? That's January 2026. So when I told you about linear and convergent thinking, right, and about entry level jobs, right, the funny thing is even that AI is not only going after linear and convergent thinking. As we speak, it is already going after divergent thinking. Are you seeing the issue on ground now? So it is going to be a serious sabotage for us to still be staying on linear and convergent thinking when AI has cut that off. And right now, AI is already going after divergent thinking. It is. It is. Right. So we are seeing that in the workplace in terms of the kind of jobs where people are experiencing layoffs. Right. We are seeing that even jobs that require divergent thinking, AI is going after them. So for us in Africa in K to 12, we can't but respond quickly, right? This is not just about the United States. This is about a reality that has the potential to happen in Africa, especially the urban side of Africa, right? Where we have these companies, where we have the digital economy, right? This is about K to 12 and the digital economy, right? So yeah, so we are seeing this as something that can happen, right? And we need to pay attention to it right now. Right now, AI is very powerful. We need to start raising the coming generation to be able to work with it. We said the intelligent age is that era where humans and machines have to work together. It's official. It's official. Humans and machines have to work together, right? So how do they work with AI, right? To bring productivity, to bring transformation, all right, in their personal life, right? Personally, corporately, in the society. How is that going to happen? Those are the conversations we need to be having right now, right? We're talking about signals. What are the signals that we need to pay attention to? Right? All I'm going to do right is just talk about the signals we need to pay attention to, right? And after that, we'll just wrap it up right there, right? Now, this is a recent McKinsey report that was launched around November last year, November 2025, right? Now, in this report, McKinsey is talking about agents, robots, and us, and they're talking about skills partnership in the age of AI, right? Again, this report is in alignment, like I've been saying, right, with the intelligent age and and the requirements and the expectations and the realities, right? The World Economic Forum, McKinsey, when these organizations when they speak, right, the world listens, right? Very critical. So if you're looking at the other side of the pipeline, the industries, so McKinsey is coming to say, hey, this is where things are right now. We have to talk about skill partnership in the age of AI. We have to talk about skill partnership in the age of AI, right? So it's very important. The expectation from humans is quite higher right now. What humans are expected to do in the loop is quite higher, right? More of divergent thinking, more of analytical thinking, more of creative thinking. And the question is, how will K to 12 respond to that? Right? And also in the report, you will see, examples of the shift that is currently happening in the industries, right? How tax are being redesigned, right? There are certain things that humans are now taking care of it. There are certain things that agents and robots are now taking care of it. There are certain things that humans and robots are doing together collaboratively, right? Yeah. So this is sending a signal, a very critical signal to us in the K to 12 space. So when we think about expectations from humans, when we think about expectation from our learners, what we expect them to do, right? The competencies that defines their readiness for the intelligent age. We need to be sure that it is in alignment where the society is right now, right? There are a number of examples right here, right? For example, on the part of communication as a skill, what are we seeing, right? Take note that the emphasis is on skill, which also means that in the K-12 space, we have to pay more attention to skills. Skills, right? We are seeing the emergence of a skills-based economy. K-12 has to respond to that by paying more attention to skills, right? So even in our report card, the emphasis should be on skill sets. What we measure has to shift. What we measure has to change. We need to start measuring skills now. We need to start measuring skills now, right? Skills like you see on this list here, communication. When we even want to measure communication, we need to do it tactically. See an example here, right? So people will refine nuance and storytelling. Look at this example under communication. See the expectation. What humans must do. Humans should be responsible for refining the nuances and storytelling, right? And what will agents do? Agents will generate content and accelerate data flow. Look at that. And what will people and the agents and the robots do collaboratively, right? Drafting, presenting, and interpreting information, right? So from this alone as a case study, you can see where the world is, right? So we are seeing that when it comes to anything about generating content, right, that is no longer, right, a special thing for humans. What we are doing is we are refining. We are refining. That's what we're doing. We are refining, right? What we are doing is we are bringing storytelling, right, into the conversation. So even in the world of communication as a skill, this thing is telling us that for our learners, storytelling is going to become an important skill for them to thrive in this world, in this era. So the question is, are we raising learners that are great storytellers? That would be an important landmark for K-12 education. So when we say we have a subject called English language, right? Let's just disrupt that, right? The question is, are we raising humans that are great storytellers, right? People that can handle information, that can refine, that have great judgment, that can refine information, right? That are great storytellers. That's the expectation, right? People that can interpret information, right? That is the expectation right now. So in our English language classes, those are the learning outcomes that we have to be paying attention to. Very critical. Because of time, we can go on and continue to see what all of this is all about, right? But these are signals that we cannot ignore. These are signals that we cannot ignore, right? And as we gradually begin to bring this to a close, um, I mean, I'd like to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the conversation so far? All right. What are the signals? These signals, what do they suggest to you? I mean, I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to hear from what do these signals suggest to you, right? As you listen to these things, as you see these signals being unveiled, right? What do they suggest to you as someone in the education space, right? Um, while I'm waiting to hear your thoughts, and as you speak, I'll put them on the screen, right, so that I can also amplify that as well, right? I want to say that it gives me great joy to launch this book officially today, The School Shift, right? And I want to start by thanking Ms. Folashade Adefisayo, the CEO of Leading Learning Limited, and also the former Commissioner for Education in Lagos State. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's a great honor to have her, do the forward for this book. I remember when I met her, and then she just said a number of things, give me an idea. I was thinking about the book in a direction, and the ideas she gave just made me rethink the whole thing about the book. Right, very powerful. Thank you so much, Miss Folashade Adefisayo. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your support. It means a lot to me. I'm deeply grateful. And also, I want to thank Miss Adeyinka Oni. That's the founder of iCloud Africa and Standard Bearer School. Thank you so much, ma'am. When you purchase the book, you see she has something to say about the book as well. All right, sharing her experience. She's one of the few. She's one of the few school leaders I know in Nigeria, in Africa, who is very innovative. She believes so much in innovation. If something new is happening today, she'll probably know about it. Very powerful. She's a great innovator, and it's a great thing for us to have someone like that in the education space. Thank you so much, Mr. Adein County. Thank you uh, for your expert contribution to the book, and for your review as well. Right, this is really great. Press. And I also want to thank Miss Adibimpe as well from Pearls Garden School. We've been together for 5 years. I've known her for 5 years, working together, and she has given a review on the book as well. I'll share that later. Uh, again, she's one of those school owners who is always thinking very fast, always on the innovation lane. She believes a lot in leadership, and breeding an environment where um, you know uh, leaders are nurtured for social impact. They talk about nurturing thinkers, creators, and change makers. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Adebimpe, for your support. Thank you for being a part of this journey as well. All right. And of course, for everyone on this call, thank you for joining the virtual book launch. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for paying attention. I do hope that these signals that I have, shared with you, uh, will inspire you to reposition yourself, to begin to rebuild and redesign, right, for the next 3 to 5 years, because the window will not be there for too long. I need to say this quickly. The window will not be there for too long. Let me share this secret with you. Here is what happens, right? Every time a new era arrives, right, in the space of 3 to 5 years, there'll be a dimension of settlement. Everything is going to settle, all right. And within that space of 3 to 5 years, all right, those that are going to lead the next wave, those that are going to define what the new society will look like, right, they will have engaged, they will have built whatever they are building, they will have tested it, and they will have stepped forward, and they will be the one dictating the new society, right? So this period is very powerful. It is a season of creative destruction. You and I have the opportunity, all right, to step forward and determine what the new society will look like, all right, in the education space, and determine what the new society will look like. Most importantly, in the education space, There is that opportunity right now. Nobody knows what AI is capable of in the education space. Nobody knows. Take that from me. Nobody knows, right? If you step forward today and you say you have discovered something new, that becomes a standard. That becomes a standard. So right now, we all have the opportunity to set the standard for the new order of things in the education space, especially in Africa. But we need to engage. We need to experiment a lot. We need to experiment a lot. We need to be open hearted. We need to ask ourselves, what are the challenges and the blockers that we've had in the education space before now? And how can AI help us in solving those problems? Right? That's how to think about it. Right? It's not about adopting AI, it is about drawing the real value from it. It's about putting AI in the right place, right? It's about using AI to really advance our systems, right? This book, The School Shift, is your guide, is your manual, right? If you're a school leader, if you're passionate about education in Africa and you are thinking about contributing in that regard, this book is going to help you to understand where we are, to understand where the world is, to understand how K to 12 must position itself, right? This book is very, very direct. There's no you like someone was saying yesterday about the book that wow, I like the way it is direct and just straight to the point. Yeah, it's because there's no time. There's no time in a world where there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of content and a lot of cognitive noise and all of that everywhere, right? We need to be very, very direct with information and intelligence, right? So yeah, the book is straight to the point. The book is research based, is inquiry based. At the end of every chapter, there's a question for you to answer, and that question is going to drive you to action. At the end of every page, there's a LinkedIn post that is attached for discussion, right? If you click the link to that LinkedIn post, it brings you to that post, and you can also share your thoughts, right? Everything is connected to ensure that by the time you are done, you get to chapter 8, right? You're already fired up, right, to take the stage and to lead in this era. Because, like I said, the window will not be there for too long, right? The window will not. This is for leaders across Africa, people that are leading education across Africa, right? We have an opportunity to change the game and to determine what the new phase of education will look like, right? And this book is going to be one of your important guides as you step into that. So please, um, let me put thank you so much. Yeah, Yuda says, we all have the opportunity to set the standard. Absolutely, Yuda. Thank you. And that's what we're saying. We all have the opportunity, right? So, right now, in this season of creative destruction, what we are supposed to do is we need to step inside. We need to go back to the drawing table. We need to begin to experiment. We need to begin to experiment. We need to begin to experiment to discover the new waves of possibilities, right? Yeah, we need to begin to experiment. Please, I'd like to hear your thoughts for everyone that has been listening. Please share your thoughts. Yes, Emmanuel says this is powerful Adebayo. This is a season of creative destruction. Absolutely, absolutely. And in this season, new realities, right? New solutions they are emerging, and we can take responsibility and move, right? And be a part of the new, right? Because, like I said, the window is 3 to 5 years, right? The window is 3 to 5 years, right? There's going to be a learning, there's going to be the learning curve and many things like that. So the earlier you start, the earlier you immerse yourself and begin to ask the right questions, right? And leveraging the resource like this book, the better it is, right? Thank you, Emmanuel, for that response. Yeah, Moses says divergent thinking, very critical, very critical. Divergent thinking, very critical. Um, Yeah. So if you would like to purchase the book right on the call, you can visit the site on the screen, or you can as well use let me put where is it? You can as well use this QR code. Yeah. So you can scan this QR code directly. I mean, if you like, you just go purchase it directly. You can scan the QR code. It will allow you to purchase the book right now, right? And we just give it for a token, right? We decided not to make it expensive so that anyone can easily just get it, purchase it, and begin to maximize the resource, right? And of course, as you go through the book, right? If you would like to have more conversations, please feel free to reach out, right? Feel free to reach out to me just on my account on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out. Let's talk about what you're doing. Yeah, Yes, please, Emmanuel. All right. So, Emmanuel, you can use the what's it called, the the QR code on the screen, or alternatively, I can as well give me a second. Let me drop the link here. Just a second. Just a second. Yeah. Okay. So feel free to use the QR code, um, or you can as well visit the site on the screen, easydigi.info/school hyphen shift. I'll put the link. I'll put the link in the chat section here as well for everyone to see. EasyDG. Just a second. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for your time. Thank you for being a part of this session. I do hope that this has inspired you. Yeah, I just dropped the link on the screen, in the chat section, easydg.info/school shift. Yeah, so it takes you to the page, and when you get to the page, you can order like right now. Just a quick check. Yeah, you can get your copy like right now. Yeah, so you just see buy now. Just click the buy now link. Once you get on the page. Yeah, yeah. So thank you everyone again. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being a part of this book launch. I'm so grateful. Thank you for joining the session. This means a lot. Thank you for being a part of this shift. This is the school shift. It's the emergence of intelligent schools, right? We're seeing the emergence of intelligent schools, right? This is the intelligent age, and this is a new order, right? The rule of engagement has changed, and this book is going to be an important manual for the people that are leading the change in the education space, right? Like I said, I've dropped the link on LinkedIn. You can, okay, let me put it on the screen here. You can actually just go ahead to the page and get your copy right now. Yeah, it's live. You can get your copy right now. Just a sec. Yeah. So that's the link on the screen. easydigi.info/school hyphen shift. That's the link. It takes you to the page, and then you can download. I'm happy to answer questions. If you have any questions, please, you're free to ask on the call. You're also free to share, to share your thoughts, right? I'd like to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the signals? Yeah, easydigi.info/school shift. That is the page. Thank you so much, Adini. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So please feel free to visit the page easydigi.info/school shift and order your copy of the book, right? It's just for a token, but the information therein is very deep. I promise it's going to inspire you, it's going to get you started and position you to lead the pace as we rebuild the future of education in Africa, right? Very powerful and very great resource, right? And as I begin to wrap up, we're wrapping up in the next 4 minutes. I want to quickly say that the future is not what we enter, it is what we create, right? I was in a podcast on Sunday, and the host was asking me what should we look out for in the future of education, and I was saying that, right, that the future is not what we enter, It is what we create. The future is in a person. The future is in a person, and that person can be me, it can be you, because you sit where you are and you are seeing this possibility. You are seeing this possibility, right? You're seeing this possibility, right? I like to always use the 3P model of strategic foresight, right? As a foresight tool. The 3P says there's the possible, there's the probable, and there's the preferable, right? So every reality can find their place in these three order. It's just like a funnel. It starts from the possible, it goes down to beyond being possible. Is it probable in our context? And beyond being probable, is it preferable? Do we really want to go? For example, because in China there are robots in the classroom, right? Then do we really want to say we want robots to be teaching in our classroom in Africa? I don't think that's it's possible, but that's not preferable for us in Africa. We have a lot of people that need jobs. We have a lot of people that need jobs, right? They need jobs, right? Africa is young population. We're dealing with unemployment. So for us, it's not about bringing robots to come, and that's not the conversion for us right now. It's not preferable, even though it is possible, right? So in your spectrum of possibilities, right, you are thinking about it, you are seeing this possibility, and then there is an opportunity for you to step forward, right, and take it from imagination, right, to product. Take it from imagination to product. And the amazing thing is right now, the gap between our imaginations and our product has been reduced. AI has closed that gap. You can be imagining something and then you can leverage on the intelligence exposure. Yeah, thank you, Emmanuel. You just got your copy. Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, the gap between our imaginations and our product has been reduced. It has been reduced. It has been reduced, right? You can be imagining something right now and taking it from imagination to product. That gap has been reduced because the intelligence you need to make it happen is now available. It's now available. That is why it is called the intelligence age, right? It's now available. But if you do not know what the machines are capable of doing, right? And that's why intelligence has been redefined. So, what is the meaning of intelligence in 2026? Intelligence means that number one, you know what the machines can do. Number two, you know what the machines cannot do. Number three, you know what you can do. Number four, you know what you cannot do. Number five, and you can merge all of them together. That's the meaning of intelligence right now. So when we say somebody is intelligent, that term, we need to use it carefully. So in our schools, how do we say a child is intelligent? Right? We need to check it. We need to check it. Right? So intelligence has been redefined. That's really been redefined. So I'm saying that the future is not something we enter, it is what we create. And that future is in a person. And that person can be me, that person can be you. And right now, we have the opportunity. We have the opportunity to step forward and redefine what education can become in Africa, starting from our immediate environment. Yeah, thank you for the comment. Thank you for the good wishes. Yeah, Emmanuel, thank you for getting your copy. Um, yeah, so Ms. Lillian says, for me, independent learning and ownership is a major skill learners must have. Absolutely, absolutely, right. And Adeni says, I'm really glad that you're doing this. Generally speaking, we need more researchers gathering local data. We can't keep relying on insight from other countries and making decisions based on their discoveries. I love that your discourse is centered around the Nigerian African context. I look forward to reading the book and sharing it with the team at Key Academy. Absolutely, Adeni, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you. Yeah, so that's where we are. And that gradually brings us to the end of this book launch event. I want to specially appreciate everyone that showed up. Thank you for spending your time with me in this event. I do hope that it was worth your time. I do hope it was worth your time. Please let's stay connected. I'll put the link, for those that haven't purchased right now that would like to purchase later. I'll talk more about it on LinkedIn. The links are going to be there, for you to purchase the book. And then let's stay connected. Let's keep talking about this, and let's keep discussing about what is possible. What is possible in this season of creative destruction? There is an opportunity for you to be a part of the innovators, people that are leading the change, and let's keep talking about it. Let's keep talking about what is possible, what is possible, what is possible, and let's go after it. The intelligence is available. The question is, are we curious enough? Do we have the courage to step forward? Right. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for your time. I love you all, and let's stay connected. Bye for now.